Okay, so now we're going to do the last part of this week, which is ordering scores and data. So we're going to do a little one that's non-calculator and then go to calculators. So what if I said to you that Craig recently sat his first year test and scored as followed? There's his history, his English, his maths and his science scores. If without a calculator I want to compare them and let's say express them as a percent and then put them in order, then we have to think about writing them as normally in your test sheet you'll see it written like that. Well, 15 is quite a tough one for you to change, but remember you can always reduce down as well. And 3 goes into 12 4 times and 3 goes into 15 5 times. So if we have 4 over 5, how do we get it to be 100? You could times both by 20, or maybe easier mentally is double it and add a 0. Double it and add a 0. And then we get 80%. 19 out of 25 is a bit easier as long as you understand that 4 25s make 100, so we times by 4, then we get 76%. Again, this one's not straightforward to make over 100, but can you reduce it down? Well, 3 goes into 21 and 3 goes into 30, and then just times by 10. And you get 70%. And then 37 over 50, if you double it, you'll easily get over 100 and we get 74%. So if we were doing it non-calculator, we would have to simplify at times, but basically build towards 100%. So let's now think about what the question was. It said, order your results by subject from lowest percent to highest. So let's write down what our percents were. Our lowest is 70, and then we've got 74, and then we've got 76, and then we've got 80. So if I make a line down here, let's find the subject. Subject for 70 was maths, 74 was science, 76 was English, and 80 was history. So that is using the skills from way back at the start of this whole section and making it into context now. Now we're going to use the calculator and do the same question, okay? Just to show you how I'm fine with you using the calculator for this. So exact same problems, same person, same scores. Let's use the calculator now. So you know from the other day that to make it into percent, use 12 over 15, but remember to times by 100 in the calculator and you'll get your answer. 19 out of 25 times by 100 and you'll get your answer. Okay, so let the calculator do the work for you. Exact same again, we need to put them in order. So we'll put 70% and then 74. So we'll put our values in order and then we'll decide which topics it is. So it's maths, wasn't it? And then science, followed by English, and then lastly history. It's the same results. It's just that without a calculator, we need to try to get it as per 100. But now we know that skill how to find a percent, put in the fraction, and then times by 100 to get your percent. Okay, so we're using the skill from yesterday or from whenever you did it. Now, you don't need to always make it a percent. So same question, but slightly different. It's the exact same values for the topics, but what if it just said order its results by subject and it doesn't say percent? You can also make everything into decimals. This you might find easier thinking of percents, but if 12 out of 15 just means 12 divided by 15, just means that you don't have to press times by 100 in the calculator. Your calculator will actually say 0.8, but that means 80%. 19 out of 25 means 19 divided by 25, so 21 out of 30 means to put 21 divided by 30 in your calculator. And I've done that deliberately to emphasise that's what your calculator will say, but you have to know to put the extra 0 in there. And then 37 divided by 50, and we get our answer. So to put them in order, make sure this does have a 0 so you can compare them all. So we'll have 0.70 instead of 0.7. We'll have 0.74, 0.76 and 0.80. Let's put them in order. So you know it was maths. It's not changed. It's the same question. Maths, science, English, and then history. So going back, the first one, I did non-calculator with getting a denominator, so it was out of 100. Then I got it to do the percentages, divide by the bottom times by 100 to get into percent, or your option is for decimal. I'm going to do the next one in decimal just so you can see. So before we move on, using the calculator, the trick is to get your information in the same format, whether you want it all in decimal or whether you want it all in percents. I would not try to get it all in fractions. Okay, when it's fractions, just take the top divided by the bottom and get it into decimal. Decimals are often the easiest if you've got a combination. If you want all in percent, that is absolutely fine by me, but you have to do a little bit more work for that. If you're given recurring decimals, just expand them and then round it to 3 decimal places or whatever. So just remember, if you did have that, you could use the SD button, but if it's in the question already, you're not going to create this. So it's just to remind you, if you have it as an answered in your screen, 0.78 with the dot above the 8 means you would have press SD on the calculator and get 0.788888, so I'd write 0.789. Okay, because of the 8, it will round up to 9. That's what I would do if I had it on my screen, but if in the question they just give me 0.78 dot, I'll instantly write 0.7888 to a few decimal places to think about what it would round to. Okay, right, so let's have a look at a question. Okay, put this data in order, smallest to largest. You've got 0.464, you've got 23 out of 50, you've got 46.3%, and you've got 0.46 with a dot. That means they're recurring, okay? So let's put them down the side. I am going to suggest getting them in decimals because all of those, that's in decimal, and this is easy enough to get to decimal, and this one's already, but you've got to know what this part means. Okay, so 0.464, there is nothing I need to do. It is 0.464. Do not round it because we know there's going to be issues with the other ones. Okay, so get these in 3 decimal places. The next one is 23 out of 50. So we will put in 23 divided by 50 and just press equals. And what we'll get is 0.46. Now you can see that's 3, so I could put a 0 there. I'll worry about that later. Okay, so when it's a score or a fraction, just do that. 46.3%. I hope that a lot of you could actually change that into a decimal right away. But what does percent mean? Percent means per 100. So take the percent and divide it by 100 and let the calculator do the work. And we get our answer 0.463 because percent means per 100, and if you divide by 100, then it will go boing, boing, and be over here. So it's 0.463. But you're allowed the calculator. The one thing you need to know, though, is what this means, because it's not going to appear in the calculator. You have to know that means 0.466666. So what would that be to 3 decimal places? 0.466 or 0.467? Because the number after is larger than 5, it will be 0.467. So the one that's different there is this, and we need to put 0 there. So now let's try and put it in order. So it would be 0.46 for the smallest one. So I put 0.460, so you can see them all to 3 decimal. So don't get all scared about the size of the numbers. Okay, just focus on the 460, 461, 462, no. So the next one's 0.463, the next one's 0.464, and the next one's 0.467. Okay? We've not answered it yet, so we have to put this information in order, so we're supposed to change it back to what it was. So just go, which one was 0.46? This one here. So that's the 23 out of 50. Okay? The 0.463 was the one that was 46.3%. The 464 was just 0.464, and then lastly 0.467 was that one there. Okay? And that is it in order. So what did I do? If it's a fraction, just divide and write down what your answer is. If it's a percent, you have to know that means per 100, which means divide by 100 to get your answer. And sometimes you'll get a little crazy dot, and you have to understand what that means. Right, what are you going to do for me? You're going to start with Math Workout, which is number 17 in percent. So if you open Math Workout, go to number. And then after that, you will open up and go to number 17, which is percentages. And then you'll see when you open it up, you'll get all of this. Go to percents number 1, the red flash one, And then what we're going to do is when you open it up, you have to go from target 1. So target 1, but jumping all the way up to 13 and 14. So I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to attempt to do it in a moment, okay? So just to show you how it works. But I'm just going to let you know that your final task after using that and making sure you're a wee bit happy with it. I say a wee bit happy because there's only 2 sets, and please use a calculator when you're doing it. Then go to the worksheet and write on the worksheet, okay? So after that, rate your success. Using a calculator, do you now feel you could express a mark or a score as a percent from part 1? And then from now, can you express fractions, percents, and decimals in order and compare data? That's what your main